Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. So, guys, Timothy Bradley questions Canelo Alvarez's stamina. He says that Canelo, there's some red flags for him. The fact that, Canelo's stamina's improved. And obviously now, a lot of these people that, have seen the Valdez test, they think that a lot of finger pointing at Eddie Reynoso. And a lot of people are now starting to say, Canelo this, Canelo that. And it frustrates me because at the same time, I'm a Canelo fan and I think he's got great skills. But I can see where people are coming from as well. Like Bradley, he's a weird one because the other day I was listening to Bradley and he was saying, Canelo's the best fighter in the world. There's no one like Canelo right now. And then he's just talking now with this Valdez situation. He's starting to say that, Canelo's stamina's all of a sudden improved. That is red flags for me. But Canelo failed a drugs test ages ago. So surely Bradley should stay consistent with that, he's failed a drugs test previously, but he's not said anything. He's saying he's the best fighter in the world. Then all of a sudden, another guy fails, and all of a sudden there's red flags. Now, there's a lot of finger pointing going on, and it's going to take a long... I don't know whether Canelo can ever get his credibility back. I hope so, because the guy's a warrior and he fights everybody. But we've got to be honest, when someone fails a drugs test, it's very difficult. It's very, very difficult to get your name, in the fans. Fans will always hold. There's always be an asterisk. It doesn't matter what Canelo achieves. There'll always be that asterisk. There'll always be the haters trying to put him down. Which is sad because let's be honest, like I love Canelo in the sense that the way he fights everybody, he's a warrior. He does what I want all fighters to do in boxing today. But there'll always be the asterisk with it, alongside his name because of the failed drugs test. And that's what Timothy's doing. He's saying, look, I've seen improvements in his stamina. There's red flags for me. And now that Oscar Valdez has failed a test, they think that whole camp, there's something, how many people have come out, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis. A lot of people have come out and criticized, and there's been a lot of pressure almost from the boxing community to almost ban these guys. And it's kind of like, whoa, I've never seen anyone ganging up like this before. Like, this was like British boxers. I'm talking American boxers. They were all ganging up on the Reynoso camp, saying that, their fighters should be banned. Like, people were taking shots at Ryan Garcia, Canelo Alvarez, obviously Valdez, who failed the test. The Martinez, who, they were taking shots at Ruiz, saying that, how did Ruiz get, this transformation that Ruiz did? So really that whole camp has come into question. And Canelo Alvarez is the biggest star in that camp. And he's definitely going to come under the scope, especially that he's failed a drugs test before. So I don't really like talking about these subjects. But Bradley's obviously brought it up, and it's difficult, man. It's difficult. At the same time, we need to clean up the sport. Obviously, the sport needs to be clean. And right now, fans, there's no clarity for the fans. Fans are confused. Fans are confused. They're confused about, where guy fails a drug test, a fight goes on, nothing's happening. Nothing's happening at all. And it's difficult. It's difficult. I don't know. I look, for me, Canelo Alvarez is one of the greats already. But is this going to taint his legacy? Some people say it will. Some people say it has. Some people don't look at Canelo the same way after, the Golovkin fight, after failing that test. But he's not the only one, to be honest. He's not the only one that's failed in the past. There's been other fighters that have failed. So, I don't know. Look, boxing's a very dangerous game as it is. I think we need to come down hard on this, you know. And like I said in a previous video, it needs to be on a case to case basis, you know. And this it's not a case where, you know, someone tests positive, okay, that's it, clean cut, we'll ban them for 10 months. Now I know that in it depends, because in other sports, if someone tests positive, boom, you're out. But in boxing, it's kind of like there's so much procedure, there's so many, you know, this, that, and the other. It's not clear cut. Whereas in other sports, if you fail a test, like I remember a cricketer failing a test, and I think his mother gave him a tablet for his shoulder, he said. And remember, cricket, like in cricket, yeah, you know, PEDs are wrong in any sport, but in cricket, especially, he was a spin bowler, right? I can't see, like, there's not going to be huge amount of benefits, or he's not harming, like, even though it's wrong, he's not harming someone. He's not like, it's not dangerous. Do you know what I mean? He's just probably doing it for recovery or whatever, but it's not harming. In boxing, you're punching someone in the head. That's dangerous. That's, you know, you could hurt somebody. You could really hurt somebody. And imagine if one day somebody fails a drug test and someone gets hurt really badly. Imagine the implications and what would happen to the sport. There will be serious questions asked. Serious questions by governments, authorities. Because, like I said, this is not, you know, these are two guys going in there punching each other. You know, and I think there's a lot of pressure on boxers today. And what I mean by that is there's a lot at stake. You know, it's not just a box. See, what we think sitting at home is two boxers going inside the ring. When you get to a very, very high level, it's not just the boxers going inside the ring. It's the promoters. It's the, you know, there's a lot riding on their careers, the top guys, because they're bringing in a lot of income for the economy, for society. Like, you know, like, for example, you imagine a Canelo fight, how many people spend money in Las Vegas and on the hotels and, you know, the food shops and all of these things, right? Canelo Alvarez's fight brings in a lot of money, not just for the event directly, but indirectly. The casinos, etc., all of that. The betting market and all of that, you know, there's a lot of money that gets brought in from these big main events, which we don't always look at. So it's not just two guys going in the ring, especially when you get to Canelo's level. There's a lot of people, you know, their managers, their trainers, their, you know, their promoters, you know, chefs, and then all the other external things that I was talking about as well. There's a lot riding on these guys' careers. So there's a lot of pressure on these guys to win. There's a lot of pressure on Canelo Alvarez to win. There's a lot of pressure on someone like AJ to win. Because they're such big stars, they bring in a lot of money. And that's why there's a lot of pressure on boxers nowadays. There's a lot of pressure on boxers nowadays. Paulie Malignaggi used to make a good point, because he was totally against this, you know, and he was against, you know, he was against this, and he used to be like, you know, guys like myself who are 2-division world champions, right? Because there's so many guys like on stuff now, they're becoming like 5, 6, 7 weight world champions. It's like someone like myself who was a 2-weight world champion that had a decent career. People look at it and think, oh, the guy was average. Because there's guys in the sport, you know, doing crazy things, you know, and he's right to an extent. But the thing is, it's like, for me, I don't know whether in boxing it can be clear cut, because here's the thing. If you're just going to ban everyone for life, like I said, you could take a drink. You can't really ban somebody for life if he takes a drink, you know, some kind of over-the-counter drink, and he has something in there that, you know, is on the ban. Like, I know an athlete is responsible for what goes in his body, but at the same time, there's got to be a little bit of leeway as well if it's not that serious. But that's what I mean. In other sports, you could fail a test and you get banned for a year, depending on the, you know, how severe that it is. I think you get banned. I remember, you know, a footballer getting banned for 9 months. And like I said, that guys, those sports aren't dangerous sports. Remember, boxing is a physical sport. It's a dangerous sport. So, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's a tricky one. In terms of Tim Bradley saying that he's seen improvements in Canelo Alvarez's stamina, not really. I don't agree with it. I don't agree with that at all, to be honest with you. I just don't think that. I think the reason why he's saying that is because, Canelo's not really shown any signs in his in tiring, but he's not really fought anybody. I've said that he's not really fought anybody that's going to be pushing him like that. And what I mean by that is, if you look at the guys that he's been fighting, Callum Smith, Billy Joe, these are not physical, strong, big punchers that are able to push Canelo back. Golovkin was a very strong, physically strong guy, a big puncher that was able to push Canelo back, that was able to make Canelo work every second of every round, that was able to put a lot of mental pressure on Canelo, that was always in front of Canelo. That tired Canelo, not just physically, but mentally. So Canelo was fatigued in that fight. He was tired. So that's why he looked tired and drained and fatigued, because it was Golovkin. And this is why I think Beterbiev could do the same. Beterbiev could put pressure on Canelo and put him in the same position. So I don't really think it's got anything to do with his stamina improving. I just think it's the style of fighter he's been fighting. And the style of fighter he's been fighting is easy for Canelo, because although he's fought some slick guys, some guys that move, those guys don't really cause Canelo a problem when it comes to stamina. I think the guys that will cause Canelo issues with his stamina are physical guys like a Golovkin that are able to put pressure on him, able to push him back, that are able to make him work 3 minutes of the round. Those guys are going to be able to tire Canelo Alvarez, not your not your normal fighter like Billy Joe or fighter like Callum Smith. Those guys are not able to push Canelo, be able to pressure Canelo like that, because they don't hit hard enough. They're not very physically strong. Canelo's the one that was walking them down. Billy Joe and what's his name? Callum Smith. Canelo was walking them down. So they weren't really... Canelo was controlling the pace of the fight. When he fought Golovkin, Canelo wasn't really controlling the pace of the fight. Golovkin was. And that's why Canelo got tired. Especially in the first fight, is because Golovkin was controlling that fight. Golovkin was controlling the pace, and the fight was not happening at the pace that Canelo wanted it to happen. It was happening at Golovkin's pace. And when that's the case, you get tired. The same with when Golovkin fought Brook, for example. Brook was knackered. He was about to get knocked out because Golovkin was putting a lot of pressure on him and he was breaking him down. Obviously, Canelo's a lot better than Brook. He's stronger. He holds a better shot. He's bigger. So Canelo's was just a better boxer with better boxing IQ. Canelo was able to, hang in there and make it a tough night for Golovkin as well. But Golovkin put a lot of pressure on Canelo, and that's why you saw Canelo tiring. Who wouldn't tire if you're gonna be in the ring with Golovkin all night, him coming forward, pushing you, putting you on the back foot? Who wouldn't get tired? Anyone would get tired, especially then getting hit by that guy as well, by body shots, by head shots, with that kind of power. Who wouldn't get tired? I was surprised that Canelo showed that he's got a granite chin, because he took all of Triple G's best shots, and he showed. And to be honest, Canelo's not really been hurt prior to that as well, so he's always been a guy with a granite chin. And even when he fought Billy Joe and Callum Smith, like literally, even when they hit him, it just made it literally didn't affect him at all. It was like nothing, and that's just Canelo Alvarez. So I don't agree with Bradley's assessment, because I think it's got nothing to do with the fact that his stamina's improved. I just don't think he's fought the fighter that's going to be able to push him on the back foot like that, to be honest with you. I think it's the fighter that's able to put Canelo. But that's just my opinion. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. Do you think Canelo's stamina's improved? Or do you think it's just down to the fact that, it's the fighter he's fighting? Leave your thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comment section below, guys. And guys, remember to please like, share, subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.